position, I don't know, I'm happy with this, but maybe here is the...
Me, everything okay. Me is okay, me is good. Also, beer is good.
From Alan Law's truck after the crash. The wheel arch is rubbing against one of the rear wheels. At the front of the field, Smith is on Hahn's tail. Janiek, Kiss and Latsko follow behind. Steffi Halm has fallen to last place due to the collision near the start. The race to catch up begins. At the end of the second lap, Jiri Foreman comes into the pits. Due to the crash at the start, his race is over. At the front, Hahn opens up a small gap back to Smith. Now it is Kish's turn to get ahead of Janiek. The Hungarian would certainly like to reach a podium position. At the end of the third lap, Kish gets alongside Janiek. The Frenchman loses out. Kish passes and has now moved up to third position. Kish's determination to move up has not yet been satisfied. Cheered on by thousands of Hungarian fans, he goes after the Brit Ryan Smith on the next lap. Meanwhile, Steffi Halm has been successful in catching up. A place in the top 8 is her goal. The next race will start with places 1 to 8 in reverse order. As such, Halm would like to secure a good starting position for race 2. Last lap, Hahn has a clear lead from his pursuers and is on his way to an uncontested victory. Kish launches one final attack on Smith. The latter takes an unfavourable wide line and in doing so leaves the door wide open for Kish, an opening which the reigning champion seizes upon immediately and so moves up to second place. Jochen Hahn is victorious in the first race in Hungary. At the same time, he takes over the lead in the championship.
No, it looks easy, but it's a big fight. I'm every lap on the limit. I have luck. Wine have a big couple with, not a couple, but he's in the fight with Nobby, and from this side I can hold the gap. No, I'm happy.
Kish claims second position on the podium ahead of Smith, who comes home third. A quick glance at the final result of the first race in Hungary. Janiek in fifth runs too wide, struggling to control his truck. Wojciech also defends his lead in the subsequent corners from Halm, who is putting enormous pressure on him. Gert Kurber and Anthony Janiek tangle. The manoeuvre only costs the Lion racing truck a few plastic parts. Following this, Kish struggles against Janiek. At the front, after an eventful first lap, Halm launches an attack on Wojciech, which he deflects. Behind them, there is a collision between Ryan Smith and Andrei Kurzin. A three-way battle for fourth place between Kurber, Janiek and Kish rages, but leader Wojciech makes a mistake shortly before the end of the second lap, which Halm immediately exploits and takes the lead. Latsko also spots his chance and gets alongside his compatriot on the long final straight, but he has the outside line and remains behind him. The duel between the longest serving driver in the series and the number 2 in the current championship defines events in the final laps. Steffi Halm breaks away, and behind Wojciech there is now a whole line of pursuers awaiting the chance to pass the Czech driver. Gert Kurber gets impatient because Latsko is still holding him up. He attacks the Freightliner driver and moves past into third place. In the corner before the home straight, Kish gets alongside Latsko, makes the better exit and duly claims fourth place. Kurba increases the pressure on Wojciech, letting the number 2 man know he's there, but the MAN driver firmly defends his position. Now Kish appears in Kurba's mirrors and even runs into his rear end, forcing his way past into 3rd place. Kurba in turn now has to defend himself from an attack from Latsko. He runs wide and drops to 5th. Halm is speeding further and further ahead of the field, but behind her things are getting more and more intense. Kish repeatedly comes knocking behind Wojciech and Latsko, Kurba as well, and Hahn tangle with each other in the final corner. Kurba slips to 6th place and comes increasingly under pressure from Janiak. The Frenchman ultimately barges his way past the Iveco driver. A short while later, Kurba makes a braking error. He rejoins far behind. Behind Wojciech, it is again getting very tight. Hahn tries to make up places, makes a braking mistake, crashes into Kish and forces Latsko to the outside. The beneficiaries of this situation are Janiak and Smith. Yet Janiak cannot enjoy being in 3rd place for long at all, as just 1 lap later, Kish races up alongside him and takes back 2nd position. Completely uncontested and with an enormous lead, Stephanie Halm crosses the finishing line, gaining a further victory after her success at the Nürburgring. After having held off the pack for 11 laps, Wojciech turns into the finishing straight for the last time in 2nd place. And what follows is destined to become a subject of heated debate. Kish crashes into the back of Wojciech, who then smashes violently into the pit wall. Here's the situation involving Wojciech and Kish in slow motion. Wojciech is in front, Kish takes the inside line and runs into the rear end of the MAN truck. Wojciech loses control of his rig and ends up in the wall. The crash again, this time from Kish's onboard camera. Podium, the dominant Victor Halm is in 1st place, Janiak in 2nd and Kish in